I can't believe I'm still here to tell the tale, but hey, life is full of surprises, right? So picture this, me, Joel, and my younger brother Jerry, a couple of middle-aged retired U.S. military vets from Texas, heading to Angeles City, Philippines, where we were both born and raised, to attend my 30-year high school reunion. This was going to be a grand event as other graduating classes were invited as well. The excitement was real as we landed in Angeles City and checked into a local hotel. We couldn't wait to see and reconnect with our old friends from Wagner High. The reunion was 2 days away and was to take place at the newly remodeled Phase 4 disco right down the road. We planned the epic prank we were about to pull on a few unsuspecting old classmates. Grinning like mischievous teenagers, we hatched a plan that involved fake spiders, eerie sound effects, and a dash of good-natured mischief. The thought of seeing the looks on their faces as they jumped out of their skins had us in stitches, and we could barely contain our glee as we carefully assembled our prank props. While we unpacked at the hotel, Jerry came up with the most outlandish idea of exploring the old abandoned hospital on Clark Air Base. You see, my younger brother was somewhat of an amateur ghost hunter back home, and this was an opportunity for him to cross this personal goal off his bucket list. I was absolutely against it. I mean, think about it. We're both in our 50s and rummaging around in a dark building filled with all kinds of hazards. Not a good idea. He made the point that because he was born in that hospital back in its heyday, this adventure would make the trip even more memorable. Reluctantly, I agreed. Little did I know we were going to get more than what we asked for. So we got into our rental car and headed out to the now dilapidated medical center. We drove for what seemed like half an hour. It was just before dark when we started approaching the abandoned building. As we got closer, I was taken aback at how decayed and ruined the building was. It did not look like the bustling, vibrant hospital we used to frequent as children. It was a shell of its former self, and I couldn't shake the feeling of dread in my gut. So we parked in the car lot next to a decrepit fence. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting eerie shadows all around, Jerry and I found ourselves standing before the forgotten hospital. Its windows were shattered, walls crumbling, a silent witness to the passage of time. You could practically hear the whispers of its long-lost patients and the secrets it held. In fact, I thought I heard a spooky sound that made the hair on my neck stand up. Do you really want to do this? I asked, wide-eyed. We looked at each other nervously, but our curiosity got the best of us, and we decided to venture inside. Every crunch of broken tiles and glass echoed as we gingerly walked through the empty halls. The smell of dust and mold was apparent. I couldn't help but notice the heavy feeling of unease in the air. Our flashlight beams danced through the dusty air, across rusted gurneys and decrepit equipment. A chill ran down my spine as we descended deeper into the heart of the hospital. The silence was deafening, broken only by the distant hum of the wind. Out of nowhere, we were overcome by an overpowering smell of what I can only describe as rot. It was like the smell of a decomposing dead animal with a tinge of raw earthiness. With our hands over our noses and mouths, we looked at each other as if to mentally communicate and nodded in agreement. It was time to leave. Just as we were about to turn back, Jerry's flashlight froze on something that made our blood run cold. A shadowy feminine figure hunched over in one of the rooms. At first, I thought I saw a woman. As I squinted my eyes, I saw a leathery back and what appeared to be wings that was turned to us. My heart pounded like a drum. "Bro, did you see that?" Jerry whispered, his voice trembling. We stood there, rooted to the spot as the figure moved. It turned its head, revealing glinting eyes that seemed to pierce through our souls. My mind raced, but fear held me in place. The creature was feeding on something we couldn't quite see. A guttural, crunching, slurping, and wet sound filled the air as it devoured its prey. In that heart-stopping moment, I locked eyes with my brother, and we knew we had to get out and fast. We backed away slowly, each step feeling like an eternity, our hearts pounding like bass drums. Unfortunately, I stepped on an old broken tile that let out a loud crunch. With a sudden, jarring movement, the creature snapped its head in our direction. Its maniacal gaze locked onto us with an intensity that sent a shockwave of terror through our bodies. Time seemed to slow as its enormous leathery wings unfurled, casting a grotesque silhouette against the decaying walls. The sight was both mesmerizing and horrifying, a nightmarish vision that defied all reason and logic. A blood-curdling screech pierced the air, its shrillness slicing through the silence like a blade. We bolted. Adrenaline surged through our veins. The hospital seemed like a labyrinth, corridors twisting and turning, leading us deeper into the abyss. Panic clawed at my chest, but the thought of never seeing daylight again gave us the strength to push forward. The sound of flapping and screaming echoed all around us. We stumbled upon a staircase and practically flew down, our breaths ragged, our hearts threatening to burst. Finally bursting through the hospital's decaying doors, we found ourselves in the open air, our lungs drinking in the sweet taste of freedom. But the nightmare wasn't over. The creature was hot on our trail, the sound of wings flapping and chilling screams echoing through the night. We sprinted through the moonlit ruins, our legs burning, our minds locked on survival. Adrenaline-fueled instincts led us to the decrepit fence, and without hesitation, we vaulted over it. We hit the ground hard, the impact sending shockwaves through our bodies, but the adrenaline dulled the pain. Cuts and bruises covered our bodies as we stumbled into the nearby parking lot, where our rental car was parked. Our breaths heavy and labored, we ripped open the doors, jump in. I fumbled with the keys, started the car, and smashed the foot pedal to the floor. We left the area, never looking back. Back in the dimly lit hotel room, we collapsed onto the worn-out beds, our bodies trembling from a mixture of fear and exhaustion. The events of the night played over and over in our minds like a twisted reel of horror. The air was thick with an eerie silence as we exchanged glances, our eyes reflecting the shock and disbelief that still gripped us. The wounds on our bodies throbbed, a painful reminder of our narrow escape. Jerry let out a shaky breath, breaking the silence. "Joel, I can't believe we made it out of there." I nodded, my throat too dry for words. We knew that what we had witnessed was beyond rational explanation. "Dude, just get some sleep. We have a big day tomorrow."